I'm sure that you are right in the middle of your lunch break. Actually, you're probably even luckier than that. You have Good Friday off and you're eating lots of chocolate. You know, those chocolate eggs from Reese's peanut butter. Oh, my goodness. Drool. At any rate, happy Good Friday to you. Pamela Furr here. I'm glad to be here today. It has been one hell of a week. There's been a lot of things that have happened this week that I don't know about you, but on my bingo card, I didn't have lawmakers expelled from the House. I didn't have racist House of Representatives in Tennessee on my bingo card.
Well, that was just dumb. You always leave racist on there.
Always leave the racist on there. All right. I didn't have protesters storming the House of Representatives in Nashville, Tennessee. I didn't have that. What else? I mean, it's been a weird week. It's been, there are lots of words I could use that I don't think I can use on the radio. Scatology show. Can I say that? Scatology show. You know what I mean? That's what it's been. It's been a circus. It's been, in my opinion, a mockery has been made of the process, the political process that goes on in our state legislatures. A mockery has been made out of the process that was formed by our founding fathers. If I can coin a phrase from former Representative Justin Jones, our people. And I'm not saying our people are white people. I'm saying our founding fathers, our American people, who set it up a long time ago, a process by which to govern. And a mockery was made of that. Then, long ago, the founders of the state of Tennessee set up a process by which you follow in our state government. And a mockery was made of that. And unfortunately, for the leadership in the House of Representatives in the state of Tennessee, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So what do? You have to make a decision, and our leadership in the Tennessee House of Representatives decided to put on the floor expulsion resolutions to be voted on by members of the House of Representatives, and they decided yesterday to expel 2 and keep 1. Not because 2 were black and 1 was white, but because 2 took over the House well with a bullhorn and prevented the process of politics to move forward. Gloria Johnson, the white woman, in my opinion, watching the video, and I said this even before the expulsion vote happened yesterday, she glommed on to the 2 instigators, agitators, out of order representatives. She glommed on. She stood up there. She didn't grab the bullhorn. She didn't shout at anybody. I think she may have chanted a couple of times, moving her mouth along with the, I don't know, what is it? No action, no pizza. No, what is it? No action, no peace. Speaking of pizza, I got addicted to watching a little bit of it yesterday. I don't know if you did, but at some point she was eating pizza on the House floor. She at her little desk area there in the House, well, if you will. She was eating pizza and she had a Diet Coke. I thought that was kind of funny, kind of weird, kind of funny. It looked like a cheese pizza, by the way. I didn't see any pepperoni on there. But here's where we are. Now, to the face of the nation, we're being called racists. Good old boys. getting the black man out because the white man has the power. That's how we're being portrayed, and it makes me really angry. I don't know about you, but it makes me really angry. I saw a headline last night, and it came from the AP, and it kind of portrayed it that way. And I'm thinking to myself, here we go. Because here's what happens. You may have heard me explain this before in my many times of filling in this chair. By the way, I'm in for Matt Murphy. Did I even say that? I'm in for Matt Murphy today. I apologize. This is Matt Murphy's show. He is coming in this afternoon to fill in for Brian Wilson, who is off for the Easter holiday. So he'll be in here at 3 o'clock. And I believe he has the House Speaker, Cameron Sexton, on today. I'll double check and see exactly what time, but he hasn't on.
5:05.
All right, later on this afternoon. And I hope he asks this one question. I'll get to this in a minute. There's one particular question I want answered. At any rate, I saw the AP headline that portrayed Tennessee as racist. And I'm thinking, great. Because here's what happens in this country. First of all, most people, in the younger generation of people in America aren't listening to the news. They're not watching the news on TV. They're only seeing what headlines are shared on socials. They're not clicking on it and they're not reading it to get to the bottom of the story. These days, those headlines are specifically to try to get you to click on the story. So sometimes those headlines don't even match the facts that are in the story. Well, people don't click on it like they should, and they think the headline is the fact. And there are many times it's not. That's number one. That's what happens. Here's another thing that happens. In this country, newsrooms, I don't care if you're talking newspapers, I don't care if you're talking radio or television, newsrooms across the country have been gutted over the years. So you have skeleton staff everywhere. And because of that, you don't have enough reporters to vet every story that comes down the line. So you have reporters who are trusting that the story is correct because it came from the Associated Press, that time-honored organization. And I'm not making fun of anybody that actually works there. There are good people, good reporters, good writers that work there. But overall, there are times you can read a very biased story coming from the Associated Press. So if they have a headline that is painting the state of Tennessee and the politicians of Tennessee as racist, you have newsrooms all across this country that are going to run that story verbatim because newsrooms all across this country have licensed the ability to use their stories line by line, word by word, and they will repeat them. Why? Because they don't have the staff to check the story to see if it is indeed a factual story. They don't have the staff to see, I don't know, that's a little biased. That's opinion. That's not actually the facts. Maybe I need to dig a little deeper. You don't have the staff. And sometimes in some newsrooms across this country, you have news people that have only been doing it for 6 months. They're fresh out of college and they don't know to dig a little deeper. And it's not their fault. They're doing the best that they can. And so now what you've done is you have distributed a story across the country that may or may not be factual, but certainly is biased. You can't stop it. So now you've got an organization that has painted Tennessee as racist. And so small town USA, I don't know, let's pick a state, Nevada, is picking up the story and running with it. Oh, here's some breaking news from Fox News. Vice President Kamala Harris is making a surprise trip to Nashville today. Oh, let's just insert ourselves into the story. I'm going to try to find some.
I'm speaking. Okay?
All right.
I'm speaking. Okay?
I'm speaking, Ms. Harris. Right now, I have the floor, Miss Harris. I need to find out the details on her Nashville visit, and I'm sure she's going to shake the hands of Justin Jones and Justin Pearson and say, thank you for working on behalf of our people. And she's going to reiterate what a racist state Tennessee is. And here's, depending on what time she lands in Nashville, you can thank her for traffic tie-ups later on this afternoon. Because certainly we have learned over the years, especially when Al Gore was vice president, that the vice president touches down in Nashville, we still get those rolling roadblocks. Grr. I am the audio version of a grr emoji, an angry emoji. Thank you, Kamala Harris. Good grief. If it's not chaotic enough right now in politics in Tennessee, thanks a lot. I think she may have been in Chattanooga yesterday. I think I saw that somewhere. Don't know why. We're going to dive into some of the things that these former lawmakers had to say yesterday. I know people have been talking about it all day. I want you to hear from me about it. I've done some research, and here's the thing. I know that on Monday, the city council is set to meet for a special meeting. What is it? Monday evening. I want to say like around 4:30 or so, to decide who to send back to the House to fill that seat. And everybody keeps talking about, well, they'll just get Justin Jones back in that seat, which may or may not be true. First of all, we don't know for sure that the city council will vote that way. Although Justin Jones ran unopposed in the general election, he did have a primary opponent. It was a female. I don't remember who it was because it wasn't my district. She lost. He won. I think she's now on the city council. Why they could just go and vote for her to fill that seat until the end of this session, et cetera, or at least until the end of the term of that seat. But it's not a given. I have asked and I have asked and I've asked. It's not a given that even if Justin Jones is sent back to the House, that leadership has to seat him. Remember, he's been expelled from the House for this session and for the remainder of his term, I thought. So sending him back, I would think, flies in the face of the expulsion to begin with. Now, I think this is unprecedented because he wasn't expelled because he committed a crime. Neither one of them were expelled for committing a crime. They were expelled for not following House rules. And there's nothing in their rhetoric that shows any remorse for that and shows that they would be any different if they were put back into those seats.
Apparently, the visit by Kamala has been canceled because someone told her Nashville was on the southern border. Just kidding.
All right, that's funny. That was good. This just in. Thank you, Bill. All right, it is 12:19. When we come back, there's a couple other things I want to point out about these lawmakers who say that they were protesting with the people regarding gun control and things that we need to do in this state regarding guns so that the innocent children will not continue to get killed. Well, I think it might surprise you to learn what they've done to stop guns in the state of Tennessee. Because they have the power. Remember, they're representatives. They can introduce bills anytime. Did they? We'll find out when we come back. I'm Pamela Furr. It is 12:20. I am in for Matt Murphy, who will be in at 3 o'clock, filling in for Brian Wilson on The Drive on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey everybody, I'm Paul Winkler. The financial world can be full of landmines for investors. On the one hand, investment firms and the financial community will often overcomplicate the financial planning process to confuse investors. As one guy who used to work a big investment firm once told me, if an investor thinks that they're over their head, they'll blindly trust you. And it's easier to sell to them. I'm glad I'm away from that. On the other hand, many people oversimplify investing to the detriment of investors. Just having a little knowledge can be really dangerous. The idea there is the same. It's just a different way of selling things. At Paul Winkler Inc., we like working alongside our clients with an education guidance approach. I believe that there's confidence that comes with knowing what you're doing and why. We abide by the very highest level of fiduciary care, and we use the most sophisticated financial planning tools out there. And every one of our offices is run by a degreed planner with over 20 years experience. No kids fresh out of college. If that sounds like a winning formula, set up a free 15-minute phone call to learn more. Go to paulwinkler.com or call 615-851-1950. You can do this.
All right, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is 12:25. I am Pamela Furr, in for Matt Murphy, who will be in for Brian Wilson later on today at 3 o'clock. Be listening for that. Yes, Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, okay, this is a headline from I'm going to read it directly from the USA Today. Are you ready? The writer wrote it this way. Vice President Kamala Harris plans to visit Nashville Friday to push for control. I think they left out a word. I think it's probably gun control. But yes, Kamala Harris plans to visit Nashville on Friday to push for control and meet with 2 Tennessee Democratic lawmakers who were expelled from the General Assembly after protesting for gun reform on the floor of the state house. The hastily scheduled trip comes after, well, I don't have to tell you what happened. The 2 black lawmakers, and they explain who they are, were punished by Republicans for leading protests from the House floor in support of gun control after a mass shooting at a Nashville private school, blah, 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 blah. That's not what happened. They prohibited House business by taking over the floor. That's what happened. They prohibited the procedures. At any rate, Bella and I were just talking. A friend of mine sent this to me. I guess he worked up the numbers, and I think it's even out there on Twitter. But you realize, had Gloria Johnson's vote, according to some information that I have, had they voted last to expel her, she would have been expelled. And here's how it works. A 2/3 vote of the 99-member House is required for expulsion, right, to take place. So that means 66 yay votes would have to happen. So at the start of the voting, there were 99 members eligible to vote. 2/3 of 99 equals 66, right? So Justin Jones' resolution was heard first. When Justin Jones was kicked out, there were then 98 members eligible to vote because Jones had just been kicked out. Gloria's resolution was next. So a 2/3 vote of now 98 eligible members meant 65.3 were needed. So technically still 66 votes needed to expel a member. She garnered 65 yay votes to expel her, which is less than the 2/3 of 98 votes. So she was safe. The Pearson, when he was expelled, there were only 97 members eligible to vote. 2/3 of 97 is 64.666 votes needed. So then it would only have been 65. Had Gloria's resolution been heard last instead of Pearson, with her 65 yay votes, she would have been expelled because her 65 yay votes exceeded 2/3 of the 97 members eligible. Does that make sense?
So if they had voted on Pearson second, he probably would not have been?
He still would have been expelled because he had enough of the votes,
okay.
Right? But hers, that was because some Republicans voted not to expel her, right? So because of that, had they done it, because Pearson and Jones would not have been able to vote, so therefore you had 97 total members. Now, I'm not a math person, so that's why I had to have somebody, I begged my friend, you got to write that out for me because I am not a math person. But that seems right to me. So all they had to, but, how would you have really figured how people were going to vote when you called for the vote? But had they switched it, she might. So you can't tell me, you can't call racism here at all. Because, again, had her vote come up last, she'd be out. She'd be out. And you can't call racism either because, hello, you have other black members there in the House of Representatives. Are you aware of any move to get them out of the House? Come on, guys. Let's be real. It's not racism. All right, so we are going to take a break. It's 12:30 now, so we're going to take a break. And when we come back, I may open up the phone lines at some point to get your reaction to all of this, but it offends me greatly to be portrayed as a Tennessean and a racist. It offends me greatly that Kamala Harris is going to show her you-know-what here so that she can reiterate, racism is alive and well in Tennessee. I did not see what time she's going to make it, and I'll try to look that up too so we can avoid the roads. So we don't have to get, locked into those rolling roadblocks. And here's what's happening. I'll say this last thing, and then we'll go to news or whatever we're doing right here. Let me say this. Justin Jones and Justin Pearson have accomplished exactly what they wanted to accomplish. Fame. And here's how I know this. They've done nothing to control guns in this state. They've introduced zero legislation. How do I know? Because I looked it up this morning. Zero legislation that had anything to do with gun reform. Nothing. And neither is Gloria Johnson. Nothing. And they had the opportunity to do that. Instead, they glommed on to a tragedy that happened here in Nashville to start protesting because that's what they do. They're professional agitators. They're professional instigators. If they really believed one damn word that they said, they would have introduced legislation that the House could have debated or committees could have debated in this session. I'll give Pearson a little bit of grace because he just got elected. He was filling a seat of somebody that passed away in Memphis. So he just got to the party. But Justin Jones, he's known for months after he got elected that he was headed to the House of Representatives. Where's the research? Where's the bills? He didn't even co-sponsor any legislation that had anything to do with gun reform in the state of Tennessee. So you, my friend, are full of crap. And your little dog, too. It is 12:32. I'm Pamela Furr, in for Matt Murphy on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.